What's going on, guys? Vulkan, and today I have another Division video for you guys. The topic of this video is going to cover the state of the game that happened today, November 16th, 2017. Now, the topic of the previous state of the games have all been Update 1.8 and the features therein. This one was a little bit different. We did touch on 1.8, but we also touched on a variety of other subjects. Now, before I get into the state of the game, I just want to let you guys know my next video of the Division training program will be coming out tomorrow on November 17th. So for those of you looking forward to that, there's the release time for that. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the state of the game and let's talk Division. Let's get debriefed, guys. So today we're joined by Petter Martinson and Yannick Benchero, and they're going to talk about 1.8. So they also talk about a few other things. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the main thing, the thing that people have been asking about, and I'll say the spotlight of this state of the game. Release is planned for 1.8 for early December this year. So early December could be, in my mind, anywhere within the first 2 weeks. Now, if I was a betting man, I would say the first week of December. Going off of the Reddit, everyone seems to be pretty upset about it. They thought that 1.8 would be out by now. I mean, the trailer did release in August. Now, me personally, I like to let my chicken marinate a little bit longer than others and make sure I get a nice finished product. So if they need to take a couple extra weeks and put a little more polish on it, by all means. Now, don't take advantage of that and release it December 2018, but in the same regard, let's go ahead, let's give them a little bit of slack and see if we can come out with a nice product. I know the history of the updates haven't been the best, but I have faith in them. Now, like I said, we have the release planned for early December 2017. So, what are we going to do in the meantime? Well, there's not going to be a global event, that's for sure. They talked about it, and the global event will actually start a couple days after 1.8 has dropped, and they wanted to make sure that people could play the new content first, focus on the new content, and then when the global event comes around, Strike, by the way, they're going to be able to focus on that. They didn't want to release them simultaneously because they felt like people would not be able to experience all the new content and instead be focusing on the global event to get those classified pieces. So they're talking about how they can rerun the old global events. That's something that the community's been asking for a long time, myself included, because I got to miss out on the first maybe 1-2 global events, and actually the first one. I got to miss out on the first one, and that is, I want to be able to rerun it again and experience it, but they did say that these are not something that you can just flip a switch and they work. They take considerable back-end kind of work to them to get them primed up, ready to go, and shipped out to us. So keep that in mind, guys. It looks like global events are not just something that they spin up and kick out. It looks like these are things that take a considerable amount of resources and a considerable amount of time. So in my opinion, there's got to be a way that they can work it into the engine, hopefully to kind of spin these things up quicker. I know the original proposal was 1 global event per month, and now we're looking at 1 global event every 2 months. So in order to keep their promise, I think they need to do something on the back end to make that a little bit easier. Now, they did talk about the state of the game themselves, the state of the game, and the status of the meeting. Now, a couple months ago, they put out a survey for the state of the game, and a lot of people pulled from it. They said, we want it weekly. We really want it weekly, but if all else fails, we just want it, guys. We just want communication from the developer. We want you guys to want to care. And I think that resonated with them. Obviously, they started going to a weekly state of the game. Now, there's some changes coming down the pike. And these are good changes. There are changes that I noticed the past couple state of the games. Why have the meeting if there's nothing to report? There's no new news. It's just regurgitating the old news. You know, a wise man once said, if you have a meeting, you either need to be learning something or teaching something. If you're doing neither, you shouldn't have the meeting. And I think a lot of that goes into the state of the game. While the first ones about 1.8 were really at top notch because we were learning something and they were teaching something. Now, neither person's learning, neither person's teaching, we don't need to have it. I think they went ahead and said that they would like to stay the game. They like the state of the game, they want to keep it, but they also don't want to fill it with information that we don't expect, or information that isn't really anything helpful. It's just kind of, you know, hanging out, talking, you know, shooting the breeze type of thing. So they want to change the state of the game into more of a primetime show that has a mix of community segment and also state of the game segment when there's something to actually talk about. So until that format's ready, they will only do a state of the game when they have something to talk about, and they will announce it ahead of time. So this is a big change. I will no longer be doing weekly state of the game videos because there will no longer be a weekly state of the game. They're going to completely switch this, flip it on its head, and it's going to be an impromptu meeting that they will announce at the beginning of the week, I would assume. Hey guys, this week we have stuff to talk about, we're going to do a state of the game, tune in, rather than, hey guys, every Thursday, state of the game, boom, boom, boom. So with that being said, there will be no state of the game next week, and we do not know when the next one will be. But let's look forward to the future, guys. Good news on the horizon. We have a double HVT reward event coming down the pike. Now, this is going to take place this weekend, aka tomorrow, and it's going to run through Monday. So this special event is going to be double HVTs. Now, these are rewards for the missions, not the drops. So it's not going to be bosses dropping double. It's just going to be the rewards from the missions will be doubled. So still good, especially if you're somebody just getting into the division, you start doing HVTs, you need to get caught up on really everything. So this is a great way to catch back up. They said there's another special event coming next week. We're not entirely sure what it is. More details to follow, but it will not be in the state of the game. That's for damn sure, because we won't have one. So look for that on Tuesday next week during Reset. I would imagine there should be a post about it sometime. Known issues. They talked about these. There's an issue with lag and desynchronization. So they're working on improving these issues with each game update. They're adding different improvements. There are small improvements, incremental improvements, sometimes big improvements, but they want us to know ultimately they're working on it. They're trying to make Division the best game that it can possibly be, and I believe in them. Come on, Massive, you can do it. And the reported glitch from last week, aka the stat glitch, firearms, electronics, and stamina, being able to roll those up to about 18k apiece. That's still under investigation. No, I don't know how to do it, and I don't know anybody that does know how to do it. There was a couple videos floating around that showed it, but they never actually took it into combat. It could be a UI glitch. We don't know. They did do a frequently asked questions, so a FAQ coming your way. Aiming and shooting while healing. So there are various versions on the PTS. What's going to be the final result? And what they're going into here is, are you going to be able to shoot, aim, and heal at the same time? Heal and aim and shoot and heal? What are you going to be able to do? They came out and they said, guys, you will be able to heal and aim at the same time, but not able to aim, shoot, and heal. So this is a good change, in my opinion, for a PvP standpoint. You're going to be able to aim down your sights, pop your heal, and it's going to cease shooting, so downtime. You will not be able to keep shooting while you pop a heal, while you're aiming down the sights, which makes a lot of sense to me. So I think that's a good change. The Xbox One X upgrade. I know I've been talking about this a lot, guys. There's been some passive upgrades through the raw hardware, but there's no date on the Xbox One update. It's still planned, but they don't have a specific date. I would imagine closer to the beginning of the year, maybe around the mid-January timeframe. Are there any updates beyond 1.8? They're going to talk about that once 1.8 has dropped, but not at the moment. Makes sense. And the last couple things, survival changes in 1.8. Nope. Is the Division movie still happening? Which I think would be a great movie. I mean, it's got a phenomenal script and a phenomenal plot, and hopefully it's fleshed out appropriately. But it is still happening as far as they know. No update. They will not expand the stash, and there will not be any more loadout slots. So that wraps up the actual state of the game. Let's go a little bit into my opinions on some of these things, just to kind of give you guys a little insight. I think like I said, the aiming and the shooting is going to be good. The Xbox One X upgrade needs to happen ASAP because they're going to be able to pick up a lot of new players if they come out with that and advertise it appropriately. I think 1.8 might be the last major update that we have for Division 1. I believe that Division 2's, it's got to be in development. the amount of people that they're hiring, the talks about how massive as a whole are working on Division, yet we're coming out with not overly huge updates. There's got to be something there. Survival changes. I don't think there's going to be any survival changes, guys. I think that is put a bow on it. Done. Division movie, like I said, it's going to be neat if it's executed correctly. Stash, I think that needs to be expanded. It's falling into the same thing that the Destiny Vault fell into. There's 120 slots, but at the same time, that doesn't really help us when there's so much loot in the game. You can have multiple versions of each set, and you run out of space, and in a game that has this many items, there needs to be some place that you can accurately store them and effectively store them. More loadouts, I think more loadouts is better. I don't think it's going to be a difficult change to make. It's just adding a couple extra slots, putting a scroll bar around there. But hey, who am I now? I'm not an armchair developer, guys. I have no idea about coding. I'm just looking at it from layman's terms, like, oh, it's got to be easy. Now, I will say the double HVT event is going to be pretty stellar. The state of the game thing, I really kind of wish that there was more to it, but it makes sense. I think if they keep coming out with the weekly blog, that'll be fine, but running the actual stream might just need to be a special occasion type of thing. I do want them to rerun global strikes or global events. That needs to happen just because that's going to be such a big thing that draws people back into the game. And saying that, no, we're not going to rerun the old ones because it's too hard or too complicated is kind of demoralizing in a way. So I really hope they come out with something there. And that's about it, guys. 1.8 is on its way. I think, like I said, let that chicken marinate a little bit longer before we throw it in the oven and come out with a nice finished product. I think that early December is going to come quickly. It's going to be here in about a month. I mean, honestly, less than a month. So if we're going the first 2 weeks, let's say December 14th at that point, I mean, it's going to be here before we know it, guys. Next week's Thanksgiving. Week after that is the last week of November, and then we're right in December. So 3 weeks, we're entering the time frame that they could roll this thing out. And I would say 3 weeks is probably just a perfect amount of time. So that wraps up the state of the game, guys. That wraps up my video. Like I said, we're going to continue the Division training program tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys mad about 1.8 being pushed back? Are you guys mad about the global strikes? Do you think it's a good thing? It kind of gives you a sense of accomplishment, like, yeah, I was around during that global event. That was nuts. That was crazy. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing. Now, let's talk a little bit about, before we leave, the special event coming out next week. Interestingly enough, so special event next week. Next week is Black Friday, and the basis of the game revolves around Black Friday. So are we going to have a Black Friday event? I don't know. Be pretty cool, though. I would really love to see something like that tying into the actual story of the game for once. Either way, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment below. And until next time, see you later.